Everybody's favorite legal show, Suits.
Sydney Thompson was a consultant with Lunder's Global Initiative. She had a few too many and decided to entertain her friends with an impersonation of her boss, Lena Lunders. This impersonation was recorded and uploaded onto a social networking site. The next day, she was fired.
This reminds me of that time I impersonated Dr. Ramos in front of a group of clients, and I got fired the next day. Same as in the show Suits, and I sued the law firm, and I was hired back right away. I'm just kidding. So I wanted to make that a little more funny for everybody.
Sydney is now suing for wrongful termination. We are looking to see...
Can't cheat your way out of this one.
When it comes to wrongful termination cases, folks, look, the law is real good for the employer and really bad for the employee, okay? So unless you can show discrimination or some sexual harassment or retaliation for exercising a right, like you file a workers' compensation claim and you get fired for it, you're an at-will employee unless you have a contract, which most people don't, and they can fire you. They can fire you for any reason, a wrong reason, or a bad reason, so long as it's not an illegal reason. And there's not very many of those out there. So a lot of times there's just no case, but let's see what happens here.
Kyle Durant, Mike Ross. Mike Ross. Mike Ross. Kyle for the plaintiff. Ross for the defendant. They're the best man left. Oh, by the way, Kyle, weren't you a national mock trial champion?
That's right, Lewis. In high school, college, and law school.
Let's settle.
Or I could beat you.
The plaintiff has shown a pattern of making derogatory statements about my client.
Hearsay.
Not the emails.
Which have no tone of voice and are subject to interpretation.
Which is exactly why your argument is shaky at best.
Then beat me in court.
Kyle, there is a reason that Harvey chose me to be his guide. You really want to find out what that reason is?
Lawyer ego and grandstanding, it's all a bunch of nonsense. You know what really matters? The facts of the case. You have good lawyers, you got bad lawyers, but bad lawyers can beat good lawyers if they've got good facts and vice versa. So enough of the showboating. Let's see who has the facts on their side.
And how do I know this isn't some sort of trick?
It is a trick.
It's not a trick.
It's not a trick.
This is our chance to stand out. Look, settling gets us in and out of there in 5 minutes. You drop the suit, and you and I spend the rest of the week making ourselves indispensable to the partners while everyone else buries their heads in Candyland Court.
I'm going against my better judgment and trusting you.
Shall we have a deal? Counsel for the plaintiff and I agreed to a settlement yesterday.
He must have misunderstood. We had discussed, but I never agreed to anything.
Do you have a signed agreement?
Folks, when you settle a case or you do anything in the legal world, you want to have it in writing. You got to have it in writing. And if you don't, a lot of times it's like it didn't happen. And I think Mike's about to learn that the hard way here, but...
No?
Then we are ready to proceed. You have the floor.
Thank you.
Oh, Mike's not prepared.
On March 31st, 2010, Sydney Thompson was unwittingly recorded on a cell phone. She made a joke, the type of joke that I'm sure every person in this courtroom has made at one point or another. Yet, she was fired. She was fired. And yet, she was fired. Not only deserves her job back,
Hey, are you okay?
Now you care?
Mr. Ross, I'm gonna have to ask you not to speak to my client.
She is not your client. She is Rachel, the paralegal, and I only have 5 minutes, so you should really get out of my face.
What's your problem, Mike?
My problem is that you don't have the balls to make this a fair fight, Kyle.
Lawyering isn't about fighting fair, and you better watch your false accusations, or I might just sue you for defamation.
The defendant wishes to countersue.
On what grounds?
I believe that's my line, counselor.
Defamation of character. The plaintiff's video negatively impacted the perception of Lena Lunders and impaired her financial well-being.
That's ridiculous, Your Honor. In order for there to be defamation, the statements made would have had been false. That's not the case here.
Then you should have no problem proving that in court.
So that's a big thing. People talk about defamation a lot and oftentimes don't understand what it means legally. So everyone, I think, understands what defamation is, saying something derogatory about someone. But if it's true, that doesn't violate the law. So a lot of times when someone sues for defamation, the defense is, yeah, I said it, but it was true, and so you have no claim. A lot of people don't know that part, so I think it's important.
Countersuit is allowed.
Are you serious?
Would you like to approach the bench and find out how serious I am?
Your Honor, the defense should have filed counterclaims before the trial began.
Yes, he should have. But no one in this crop of associates had the foresight to do so. And we drafted a whole addendum just because we assumed one of you would. So I'm going to allow it. Do you have a problem with that?
No, Your Honor.
This is now a defamation trial. You have until Friday to prepare. Nice recovery. Thinking on your feet. But you wouldn't have had to if you hadn't been so naive.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, I agree. So a countersuit, those of you that don't know, is when you get sued and then you sue them back for something else. And so then you have claims going back and forth each way. And it's a very common defense technique to go back after someone that's coming after them to try to level that playing field. So stay tuned. Next time, we are going to see a trial between Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. Maybe Wiley finally gets what's coming to him.